Welcome back to another edition of All Content. It has been a while since our last video on this, but we wanted to take a break from Super Smash Bros. Now that Byleth and Fighter Pass 1 had ended. But it couldn't last forever, and with at least 2 more years of Smash speculation upon us, I guess we are in it for the long haul. It's a good thing there are still a ton of iconic gaming series to cover here, both third party and first. Yet, we didn't want to start with something safe. One of the more common requests like Crash Bandicoot or Tales of, those will come later. Instead, we wanted something relevant, iconic, and a bit different from Nintendo fans' usual choices. We wanted to go with the PC sensation Half-Life, and with Alyx around the corner, what better time to talk about it? It would be wrong of us to claim we did this one alone, however. A special thanks goes out to our Discord member GTA Yoshi, who submitted the original article for this as a guest submission. That article goes into much more detail than this video will, so once you've watched this, I highly recommend you go and read that. A link to it is in the description below. So as always, let's talk characters, and the obvious pick for a Half-Life character in Smash would be the main hero of nearly every main game, Dr. Gordon Freeman himself. His signature crowbar would make up many of the standard attacks, but for the specials we think it makes sense to use a variety of weapons from throughout the series. And we think he should have the same restrictions Snake had, so that he can focus on the more unique weapons in his arsenal. His neutral special would be Tau Cannon from Half-Life 1. Gordon can fire 6 beams from the Tau Cannon at a time before he has to wait for it to recharge, indicated by a bar on his HUD icon. By tapping the special button, a regular shot will come out, similar to Fox's, but with a much wider hitbox. Holding the special button down, however, releases a stronger charged version of the attack, at the cost of 2/6 of the meter. Next is the side special, which is the MP5 grenade launcher. Unlike Snake, who throws his grenades, Gordon fires them out of a launcher and they explode on impact. They move in a slight arch, so if opponents are close enough to Gordon, they can be ducked under. However, if you get hit, they deal significant damage. It's a good thing for opponents then that Gordon only gets 5 of these per stock. Yep, it's limited, with no recharge, similar to Banjo's side special. With great power comes great restraint. For the up special, Gordon uses the Displacer Cannon from Half-Life Opposing Forces. We took some creative liberty here, as in the original game it's used as a quick warp to the border world Zen where players can recover. Here it works like Mewtwo's up special, teleporting the opponent a short distance in whatever direction they choose. Finally, the down special, which is the Snark. This tiny alien functions similar to the Mecha Koopas that Bowser Jr. has, running along and exploding after a time. However, if they catch opponents before the timer is up, they will bite away at them and do chip damage, similar to the Pikmin. If opponents are fast enough, they can be shaken off like the Pikmin as well. Otherwise, a fiery death awaits. Gordon can't spam these, however. Only one can be out at a time. Like, could you imagine if that wasn't the case? Now before we get to the final smash, we want to mention Gordon's unique grab, the Gravity Gun. It can't latch onto edges, but it does have range similar to Samus's Grapple Beam, and sucks in players who are just out of range similar to Pac-Man's grab. Okay, it's time for the final smash. Here Gordon fires the Displacer Cannon, and anyone hit will be teleported to the Black Mesa test chamber for a cutscene. It's called the Resonance Cascade, and it's based off the scene in Half-Life 1 where Gordon moves a crystal into the central beam, causing the chamber to explode and damage everyone inside. Moving on to the presentation of Gordon, first he doesn't make any noise himself. No grunts or spoken dialogue. The only sounds come from his HEV suit, weapons, walking, etc., and they all sound like they come from Half-Life 1. Speaking of the HEV suit, the one from Half-Life 2 is his default look, as it's certainly his most iconic. His other outfits then reference other characters and ideas in the Half-Life series. His first ult is a blue colour in reference to Blue Shift, and then a green colour for the opposing force. Next is a scheme based on the HEV suit Gina Cross uses in Half-Life Decay, and is followed by one based on Colette Green from the same game. Next is a yellow suit which is based on the Hazmat suit, but also on his beta design as Ivan the Space Biker. The last 2 costumes are unique, being based on his scientist look, with the first being a regular white and the second being a much darker one, as a nod to the G-Man. And that does it for Gordon Freeman, and this is where we would usually move on to the stages, but from now on we want to mention the Mii costumes here instead. This is what Shadowlink has always been doing whenever he takes over this series, and it makes sense now because of the Cuphead costume. Potentially, Mii costumes could be used for spirit battles, so we need to introduce them earlier into the video. Although, saying that, the only Half-Life Mii costume we have is a headcrab zombie, which is just a hat. Our other suggestions actually pull an SNK and call from other Valve properties, specifically Team Fortress 2 and Portal. On the Team Fortress 2 side, we thought of the Heavy, but his lack of a canonical hat and his big build meant we weren't sure if it would fit, so instead we went with the TF2 Soldier. The hat would always cover the eyes, and the costume actually comes in either red or blue, changing depending on what default colour you gave your Mii. The Soldier is a Mii gunner, as is Shell from Portal. However, despite looking like the Portal gun, this one doesn't fire any portals, it's just regular bullets. So those are the Mii costumes done. Now let's move away from playable DLC and talk about the stages. We had two ideas, both moving. First is Black Mesa from Half-Life 1. Here players start in the test chamber before it's powered on. The stage is a walk-off, but not flat as it has the dip in the middle, and some floating platforms. In the background we can see some scientists watching in through a window, and some soldiers on guard. For every scene transition, the G-Man will appear, first straightening his tie, and then filling the room in a greenish hue as players are pushed to be level by the stage's changing geometry. The next section is the surface tension cliffside. This section is a ramp with one end being a walk-off and the other a pit. However, there is a safety ledge on the side of this pit where players can recover from. In the background we can see some ospreys flying around. The last area is the Lambda Core, where players fight on platforms around the edges while in the middle is a huge structure. There is one gap in the centre of the structure which players can use to get from one side to the other. There is a big pit in the middle and a section near the top that players can stand on with a walk-off. So that was one idea, encompassing Half-Life 1, so let's look at our suggestion for Half-Life 2, City 17. This one is a travelling stage like Garruk Muk Monastery, with a moving platform that takes you from location to location. The platform has a combined look to it, and the battle takes place during the uprising. Players start in the plaza outside the train station. It is a flat area with a walk-off. Occasionally city scanners will show up which can be both ridden on and destroyed to potentially get an item. Dr. Breen can appear on a propaganda screen in the background, although it sometimes flickers to G-Man. In the background we can see cameos from the likes of Alyx, Grigory and maybe Kleiner, while rebels and soldiers fight behind them. The next stop on our tour is the Overwatch Nexus, the rooftop of what was once a bank or museum. Layout-wise is pretty similar to Peach's Castle Melee, although the spire in the middle can be destroyed by a combined gunship, an action that leaves a hole in the centre of the stage. Lastly, we are taken down to the streets again. It's another walk-off, but this time with two levels and what looks like a metal security post behind it. You can see the Citadel looming in the distance, and in the background a mix of soldiers and zombies can be seen, with Alyx also appearing on the odd occasion. It was hard to pick between these two options, as Black Mesa is such an iconic location. However, City 17 is probably the better stage. Thankfully, both work for the rest of our options, so which one is your choice? Maybe some music from both games will help you decide. Coming up next, we've got Gordon's classic mode route, titled Gordon Run, Think, Shoot, Live, which is based on an old tagline for Half-Life 1. As we've based it on Half-Life 1, we decided to go with the Black Mesa stage as the basis. Round 1 takes place in Black Mesa's test chamber. Gordon will fight Olimar while the music Adrenaline Horror plays in the background. He is an alien with smaller aliens as partners, so it's like the zombie and headcrabs, kind of. Next, players fight in Gerudo Valley against 3 green Samuses, which is based on the first encounter with Marines in Half-Life 1. The music is Diabolical Adrenaline Guitar, the song that plays during this encounter. Next is a battle on the frigate Orpheon against a giant Bowser, based on the encounter with Gargantua, while the Apprehensions and Evasion songs play. Round 4 is on the Black Mesa cliffside, and it's a fight against Meta Ridley, while the new remix of Hazardous Environment plays. Meta Ridley is there as the closest thing to an airplane in Smash, which Gordon blows up. Round 5 is in the Black Mesa Lambda Core and is against a team of Incineroar as Nuclear Mission Jam plays. Incineroar represents the alien grunts Gordon must face off in this section. And for round 6, last one before the special stage, is a battle against 3 Mewtwo's who all start with jetpacks. These represent the alien controllers and takes place on Brinstar, the closest stage to Zen. To end this off, we have a boss who isn't Master Hand, Marks. A new remix of Particle Storm plays during this fight. And that ends the classic mode run, which leaves us only with spirits to go. And as always, clearing this classic run gets you the standard Gordon Freeman spirit, while his scientist costume spirit can be purchased at the shop. Now, let's just go through these spirits in order of rank. So starting with the novice spirits, we have the Headcrabs, a support type spirit that gives you the effect of Impact Run. Here you fight 3 small Diddy Kongs that prioritise their side special. The level is Dracula's Castle, the closest to Ravenholm. Continuing the enemy list, we have the Vortigaunt spirit, another novice support, this time with the effects of Psy Attack Up. They are played by 3 Mewtwo's who are attracted to items, specifically the Daybreak item which likes to spawn a lot, so grab it before they do. The stage is Brinstar, the closest to Zen Caves. And the last novice support spirit goes to Isaac Kleiner, who gives you the lightweight effect. Isaac is played by Gordon in a scientist outfit on the test chamber section of Black Mesa, or Frigate Orpheon if City 17 was the chosen stage. Isaac avoids fighting in this timed stamina battle, so defeat him quickly. As we move up to the advanced spirits, let's keep on the old men theme with a support spirit from Wallace Breen, played by a snake in tiger camo. This stage is City 17 or New Donk City if Black Mesa gets chosen instead. He is accompanied by 2 other snakes in black camo with super scopes each. However, you only need to defeat Wallace to win. Doing so will grant you the effect of improved escape. Speaking of grunts, we have the Black Ops Assassins, another advanced support spirit, this time offering move speed up. It's another battle against 3 opponents, this time all Zero Suit Samuses, with increased speed. They prioritise both their neutral special and down special. The stage is Black Mesa, or Shadow Moses Island. And now our first primary spirit. Woo! It's Barry Calhoun, a security guard turned triagonist who is an advanced defense type spirit. He is fought on either City 17 outside the train station or the Spirit Train and begins with a Rage Blaster. Only guns spawn and he prioritises his neutral special. The damage dealt by his attacks are also much higher, but it's just a one-on-one so you'll be fine. He gives you shooting items power up. Before we get onto the Ace Spirits, however, we have another primary advanced spirit, this time of the grab variety in Alyx Vance. Played by Bayonetta on Midgar or City 17, on top of the Overwatch, she begins equipped with a ray gun and will get increased speed periodically. Now onto the Ace Spirits, and as we worked our way through 2 other protagonists just now, we may as well go for the third with Adrian Shepard, a power type. The stage is Black Mesa Cliffside or Gerudo Valley, and you have to first battle through 4 green snakes before facing off against Adrian himself, played by Green Gordon. The snakes are all slightly different. 2 begin with a super scope and throw grenades when they can, 1 starts with a healing sprout item, while the final wields a fire flower. He comes with 3 slots for support spirits, but has decreased jump because of it. The only other Ace Spirit is also our final support spirit, and is the G-Man himself. He is played by a Mii brawler in a business suit who avoids battle in this timed stamina match. Unlike with Isaac, the timer is much lower this time, and the stage is 4-side. If you defeat him, you are rewarded with auto healing. Finally, the last spirit is the big boss of Half-Life 1, the Neolanth. This grotesque villain is a neutral legendary primary type, and is played by a giant Mewtwo with 300 HP in this stamina battle. The stage is Bridstar Depths Omega, and you must first defeat 3 small Mewtwo's, each with 100 HP. Only then will the Neolanth spawn, and he has low gravity effect on him, and occasionally buffed energy attacks. Defeating him gives you increased Psy attacks. And with that, we have covered everything Half-Life related that we think we could see in Super Smash Bros. Fighter Pass. However, if you are still craving more of that Half-Life goodness, then check out our website where GTA Yoshi has gone into even more detail for the series, imagining everything from a Gordon Echo fighter to a classic mode boss, all based around Half-Life. And if you want to reach out to us and help contribute for a future episode, then by all means join our Discord, or better yet, reach out to us on Patreon like all of these fine folks on screen right now. Remember to like, share this video and subscribe, and always remember to return to the source.